A very good afternoon to everyone here. Hope all of you are doing great today. In this webinar today, our experts will take you through the journey to AI. In case you have any issues with the audio, please follow the instructions on the screen and it should fix the problem. And if you have any questions during the session, you can ask them by typing on the Q&A tab. As you see on the screen right now, click on the chat icon and both chat and Q&A tabs will open onto the right side of your screen. Now, without delaying further, let me welcome our speakers today. We have Joy Paul, who is our regional leader of data science, analytics, and Watson FSS. Within GBM, he is responsible for execution and strategy of IBM Business Analytics Platform and cognitive solutions across the region. He has been helping organizations to leverage analytics for over 20 plus years now. Along with Joy, we also have Tamer Ali. He is our data and analytics leader, and he has over 18 plus years of experience in the technology area. He has been helping organizations through their journey to AI, focusing on their data strategy, utilizing the hybrid data management and data ops technologies. Now, with that, let me pass on to Tamer. Tamer, over to you.
Thank you, Usha, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome in today's session about the journey to AI. We will take you through the different challenges in the adoption of AI, the different areas and steps to help you adopt AI, as well as going through different case studies and use cases to see how other organizations are actually using that to accelerate their journeys to AI. So I'll start by talking about the barriers to digital transformation. If you have attended actually our session about the journey to digital transformation, we have gone a bit deep into that. So the three key areas or barriers for digital transformation are mainly around the technology and infrastructure, the information silos, and the highly manual business processes. So while these are generic barriers, they are still valid very much actually to AI transformations, where technology and infrastructure are actually very crucial in order to be able to address your data and analytics requirements. They are very important actually as well, where they are currently the enablers for the acceleration of AI and adoption of machine learning and data science. On the other hand, information silos, of course, it's clear. AI is all about utilizing data. We need to be able to get all the data together to utilize it. Finally, the related to business processes, where actually we look into that in the terms of the data governance and how you want to have a streamlined process for the collection of your data and enabling it for analytics. So going through the different areas of digital transformation from data to AI, it's about management of volumes of data, of course, with increasing generation of data everywhere, having a unified view of that data, trusting the data, making it easy and simple in order for you to be able to do visualization and dissemination for the data, gaining insights, while being able eventually to do data monetization, realizing the value of data for your organization and being able to enable it for others to gain insights out of it, and eventually leveraging AI to do business excellence. So going through these different areas, usually there is a question about where are these areas going to affect my business and how they are challenging. So based on a survey actually released or presented last year by Forrester, we have done a survey for among different organizations who have adopted AI, and they were saying that actually they are 30% out of them are facing challenges when it comes to AI management. given actually the advancement of AI nowadays and the concepts of auto AI and driverless AI, it's increasingly allowing the systems to automatically manage AI, so the challenges are not so high. While actually compared to, let's say, managing volumes of data, is about 40% of the organizations are facing challenges in that. And not just that, actually 60% of organizations are facing challenges in managing data quality and being able to trust that data to utilize it for visualization and for AI. Hence, we always say that you need to focus on your data before you start discussing or exploring your AI solutions. That's why we always say as well, there is no AI without IA, which is the information architecture. Information architecture is what defines what you need to do to prepare and trust your data. We always say no amount of AI algorithms or sophistication actually will overcome the lack of this data. So, what are the different steps in order to achieve that or to manage these kind of volumes of data and being able to utilize it for your analytics and AI journeys? So, we are actually taking the AI ladder approach, which puts them into simple steps, starting by the collect step. This is actually a step that is about bringing all the data that you need together, whether you physically move the data from your different data sources into one place, or actually being able to create a virtual view on your data to make it accessible from a single place to your analytics and AI applications. So that is achieved by data repositories, by implementing data warehouses and data lakes. The next step would be organize, which is about trusting your data, making it sensible, and making it ready for analytics. And this actually addresses the data quality challenge that we talked about. Hence, it is about data ops, information governance, and solutions like master data management. As you can see, data ops is actually a new, relatively new term that is being used to talk about the traditional data transformation, data replication, data management kind of work that you do with your data. The next step would be analyze, which is once we have got the data together, it's ready, we start building our models to gain insights, to understand what is this data about and what kind of value we can get out of this data. This is done through data science, bias-free machine learning, and auto AI. The last step of the ladder would be infuse. So once we have understood our data, we've gained insights, we know the value of it, we can then infuse AI capabilities into our business applications to realize value and business excellence. That can be done through AI applications like simple applications like chatbots, can be through insight dashboards, governance, risk and compliance applications, performance management, or financial crime insights. So putting all this together, you need to have a holistic view about this approach as well, looking into what we call modernize, to be able to achieve these kind of steps into maybe a unified platform that is capable to run anywhere and easy to use. So there is a common question that we get actually when we discuss this kind of approach is, okay, we have seen the ladder. Do I have always, when I want to adopt AI, go through these steps of the ladder, starting from collect and going through organize, analyze, and infuse? I would say in most of the cases that can be the case because definitely you need data in order to analyze and infuse. But actually, there are some exceptions and there are some cases where you can jump some steps of the ladder. Joey, what do you think about that?
Yes, Tomer, this is one of the key questions. Do I need to kind of follow all the steps from collect and organize? I know what the end, what I need to kind of go in for. Can I just go ahead and connect to that data source and do it? I mean, I would summarize a particular question as in terms of it's a question of speed and freedom versus trust and secure. So the answer is actually great. I've got an insight-driven approach. I know pretty much what I need to kind of get it. I know the data sources that are trustworthy. You can actually start from analyze. But on a large scale, when there is a greater movement, a data-driven approach is much better. Go through that particular step. Now, the good news is that the platform supports both the approach. You can start directly from analyze, connect to the data source, skip the collect and organize, go straight away to analyze, or the whole holistic approach, which is collect, organize, analyze, and infuse. Yeah, so I would summarize it as speed and freedom versus trust and secure.
Thank you, Joy. So yeah, as I said, that maybe an example of that can be a simple standard chatbot that, let's say, do the frequently asked questions for one organization. For such, it is part of the infuse step, but actually you don't have really to implement such chatbot to go through the full steps of the ladder. Yet for bigger cases, if you, let's say, want to do performance management or governance, risk and compliance, you need data in order to get proper results. So we actually split this ladder into two different sections. As I said, we talked about AI, which we need to infuse in our applications, but we also talked about the information architecture that is the platform for AI. That's where information architecture addresses the collect and organize steps, while AI would be parts of your analyze and infuse initiatives. So having said so, we'll go through a couple of use cases and case studies to show you how other organizations are have already taken some steps in that journey or have started the exploration around that. So the first one is about a data-driven digital transformation that we have worked with one of the banks in the region, where the starting point was the data architecture strategy, where we start with discovering what existing data that they have, what kind of data sources, how is the data distributed, what is their current landscape, and how they are gaining insights and running analytics solutions on top of that. Having done this study, we actually worked with them to define the roadmap and what should be the steps in order to achieve their goals. We started with building a data warehouse in order to bring all the data together. They had data scattered everywhere, which is, we have seen it's common across different organizations. They had what we would call a spaghetti architecture. We managed to streamline that by bringing all the data together, building it actually based on one of the flagship solutions from IBM, which is the IBM Data Warehouse Appliance, which helped them reduce their query execution time from 9 hours to less than a minute. Having realized this performance excellence in terms of data access and data analysis, they started taking more steps into utilizing this infrastructure to do operational performance by offloading some of the operational calculations or workloads like credit risk calculation, for example, and utilizing that they have a strong platform, a strong infrastructure, and all the data is in one place in order to get faster results. And definitely this will affect the customer satisfaction. The next step was to start getting into big data. We have now addressed structured data. We wanted to explore unstructured data, data coming from non-traditional data sources. So we extended their data infrastructure into a big data platform where we could do or implement some use cases like social media analytics to check what is the brand image in the market, let's say, for that bank. Now, since we have done what we call analysis for data at rest, we want to do that for data in motion. We started exploring and implementing some streaming analytics cases. Let's say if you are standing in front of an ATM and the bank want in real time to check your profile, check how are you like mapped to the different products that the bank want to propose, pick up the right campaign solution and or campaign that you have, and then in real time maybe display it back to that user while he is standing in front of the ATM. The next step was a data warehouse refresh, because as you see, this is a journey. It takes definitely some time. And then there are situations or like steps or milestones across this journey where you want to reflect back, double check your steps and see if there are any refresh that needs to be done. And one of the reasons we did a data warehouse refresh at that time is actually to start enabling them on data science and machine learning capabilities, which comes with the new platform that they have migrated to. Having started the journey of like going through the collect by implementing a data warehouse, streamlining the process as in the organize, being able to do the analyze step through the data warehouse refresh that they have done, we reached the point where they started getting into the infuse part of the ladder, where they actually started exploring AI use cases. One of them was the chatbot that we are currently working with them to do some pilots. So as you see, it's, as I said, it's a journey. AI is not magic, actually. You need to go through different steps. And based on the approach, as Joey was saying, you want to take a data-driven digital transformation or an insight-driven digital transformation will define the kind of roadmap that you want to go through. Then I'll go to the next use case. I'll leave it to Joey.
Thanks, Amar. In fact, this is an interesting use case where we find a lot of traction and recently kind of went live with few of these. Bots have become the phase of the communication, and we believe going forward, this could be one of the very transformational piece of interface, which would actually be. But here is a point. Can we go from the typical info bots, wherein it gives you the FAQs and multi-channel, but like things like help me to find this info. The next step wherein can we then do the authentication so that we can give some more information, give more articulated find products or check inventory or record certain items, recommend certain items to that particular person, confirm an order, track shipping, but also an access to documents, which are in the form of PDFs, and ingest these ones so that they can actually access in the benefit of a natural language process. And during the COVID times, what we have also seen is that take that particular thing to the next level, where of a transaction, make that end-to-end transaction. So a process return can actually be done on a bot. An exchange request can be confirmed and done. So in a support, probably wanted to know what is the current stock currency exchange forex, but then can I do the transaction itself? So do the dual factor authentication, integrate with the backend systems, and carry an end-to-end transaction. But what you're saying, the real benefit where we look forward to going forward and in an end stage is a conversational commerce, where you're not just integrating with one key system, but as we were saying, you connect multiple data sources, multiple systems, bring in that element of master data management. And this is really where you start building remarkable customer experience. And we were working with a largest government client out here, and they kind of presented this particular thing in the United Nations. Here is what he's saying. It's just a point across and saying, what do you want to do today? It says, okay, I want to pay fine. Now, this particular organization understands your social security number, which means that it understands that you actually have 2 cars, which means that is integrated with the roads and transport. It also knows in that first car, you have a fine. So they've integrated with the police, and they know that the preferred bank is actually a so-and-so bank. So we'll say we have 7,000 dirhams as the fine overall for the annual. You want to kind of pay by this bank. You see what actually going to happen? It interconnected all the backend, gave that answer to that. So here, multi-integration of various data sources, a augmentation of data to kind of bring in that resonance across the various applications there in the organization to build that really remarkable customer experiences. Saying, doesn't matter how many systems, how many processes, type in your natural language, and we will get that executed. So really, really gung-ho about this particular one. And this use case. The second use case we want to kind of get across where we saw was scenario analysis, and especially at this particular point in time for cost improvement. I mean, you've got multiple workforce scenarios that we are facing, either temporary or permanent reductions in salary, certain right sizing of the organizations. There is a lights on scenario concept that's coming, and we're in saying what is the bare minimum required to kind of manage those revenues and the core expenses to kind of wade through this particular situation time frame. Now, this is where this particular solution brings to play. Yes, you might actually kind of start with a typical report building, but it can even go up to balance scorecard or control tower. So that platform actually kind of gives you that approach. But I want to kind of highlight out here is this particular use case for scenario analysis, wherein we have put together these various scenarios, almost on 10 plus built-in scenarios. It can connect your source, or if you've got Excel, we will actually start with that particular thing. It's available on premise and on cloud. What we're really saying, we are using a specific use case to kind of give a solution, which is scenario solution. So you don't need to kind of go through that whole process. You've got a trusted source that's coming from ERP or from HR system. You pick that actually information up, and this scenario simulation will give you those answers, the real-time impact on the cash flow position, the P&L balance sheet with the revenues and expense fluctuations. But the same platform, and again, if you've connected all the various different other data sources, can be used for cost allocation, can be used for activity-based costing, and all the way up to risk-weighted performance management. So it's not about we bagged $1 million, but what is the risk associated in executing that $1 million? That's very, very key. So to kind of balance these two is very important. Now that's again the benefit of this solution that is giving. You can start as simple as a use case of scenario simulation with a curated data, but all the way up to connecting every piece of your data stack to kind of get certain forecasting models and risk-weighted performance management. So just thought these another use case for you in your memory. And you'll see that whole Gartner's standpoint where you start with the descriptive, but you go to the predictive analysis, forecasting, and all the way up to prescriptive analysis. It is not these 3 use cases. Now, per industry, we have gone ahead and built what we kind of call it a solution accelerators. In banking alone, we are talking approximately around 30 plus different models, be it in terms of for a capital adequacy reporting or a fund transfer pricing, counting in terms of a treasury and the other business units for cost of funds and value of funds. These models are built in customer profitability, branch performance management, and things like that. Even in retail, I mean, retail is another core focus for us. Major retailers in the region is actually our customers. So open to buy models, merchandise, financial planning, campaign promotion. Again, the lights on scenario, which has actually been built on for this particular moment, are all great use cases when it comes to retail. The same goes when, we have not been able to kind of put all the industry. Public sector is another key thing. Lots of deployments in the region for scorecard management and KPI management, projects initiatives. Uh, three major finance departments in the region is actually using one. Recently, a leading roads and transport authority actually started using. So very, very great many references from a public sector point of view. Travel and transport, route optimization, cannibalization of an equipment, lot of models. So each of these, what we're trying to get us again for telco, 4 of the 6 major telcos are actually utilizing this in the region. Again, what we're saying is that there are use cases which are with accelerators taking a whole advantage of the data stack and the infuse part, where you start utilizing those insights which has come from there, is available in fact. Now that brings to this Blackboard quick session we want to kind of do, that you need to understand that there is a definitive need, not just from the revenue point, but the risk associated with revenue and the operation. So get this whole and the shared services internal. These all data needs to be kind of managed from a business, and each of them will have their own individual, but also a collective need. Now, to get that, we all agree that it's you start with descriptive, but soon you want to kind of use the platform to be a buddy, to give you diagnostic inputs, go further, create models to kind of have predictive models, and then get those suggestions as to what should I be doing from a prescriptive standpoint. In doing that, you face this problem of not a one-all solution, where because your data has got different variety, volume, velocity, and veracity. But it's not one person who's going to face this. You need different skills of people. Certain people who are very good when it comes to curating the data. Certain people are very good when it comes to finding those specific models to build so that those insights can be driven out. So you need interfaces specifically for them. A Word interface will not do what a PowerPoint interface can do. So simple as analogy as that. So you need a platform which can incorporate multiple skills, a platform which can actually kind of incorporate multi-type of data, the whole analytics journey. And one of the key in terms of where you're going to deploy it, and it has become a mandate, as in terms of, look, why do you want to kind of limit my R&D to a one cloud provider? Definitely, on-premise was definitely there, but then there's a huge one to cloud. But then, do I go for a single cloud or do I go for a multi-cloud? So there are more compelling reasons to go for multi-cloud, so that you're not tuned into one specific vendor. You want to kind of go look at a multi-cloud, and that's where the hybrid comes to play. So multi-cloud plus on-premise, that whole combination. This is where the ladder is a great story. Connecting all these pieces together is this ladder. Collect, organize, analyze, infuse. You can start with analyze if you want to. You can start with infuse if you want to, but you have know that you are on the right track. And possibly is a good time to kind of introduce from an IBM standpoint, how we look at it as that one solution, IBM Cloud Pak for Data. Connects all the pieces together, and you're sure that, look, I'm not wedded to a specific vendor. You can actually go for multi-cloud. It is standards-based, interoperability, agile, and open. If you were to kind of dwell in a bit more into it, and you said you've got different businesses and technical services that you want to kind of get on, and you've got multi-vendors available, that OpenShift or Cloud Pak for Data enables you to kind of connect to any different data sources, any different cloud providers. That is the unique capability. And then brings in the aspect of connect, wherein you have the ability to kind of make the data simple and accessible. So hybrid data management does that. And the data ops and governance ensures that the organized part is actually being done. And it is really business ready analytics foundation. Now, you always have, in the Thomas earlier question, do I need to go in for this whole thing? Can I just directly connect to a data source, do it? Yeah, so we also got that particular approach. So if you kind of look at from left, you got something called Watson Knowledge Catalog. So imagine it's the zipped up version of hybrid data management data off. You can connect straight out. It has got all those components of the collect of the organizer. You can do the more full rich approach, or you start with a ready to kind of manage, where the speed and freedom is the key. You quickly build your models in Watson Studio. It supports both GUI driven, the driverless, or if you have got a open source code like Python or R, you can infuse into that. You want to kind of put that into production, make that using machine learning. When you're doing the production, you're rebuilding it. You go and work on the newer models in Watson Studio, but then machine learning ensures that it has been published and going well, in fact. And here is the key out. And it is a known fact that we have biasness, and we kind of bring in this biasness in our models that we create. So how do I remove the biasness? And that's where OpenScale comes to play, wherein you build. So what you're really seeing out here is the analyze bit, where you build a scalable AI with trust and transparency. So you got the speed and freedom, but you also got the trust and transparency. So you're confident of that, which ensures that you can go for an insight-driven approach, or you can go for a data-driven approach. It supports both. But the last piece where it all kind of brings into action is where the infuse part comes in, wherein you infuse Watson into your apps and workflows. So you tap into the organizational data and put AI to really work. So you have access to multiple departments, so from finance to customer care to supply chain. You get these deep insights from data, but then you deploy using a bot, say, for example, or you will actually kind of have a next best option in your CRM. So you can infuse all these learnings that you actually kind of got using the Watson application APIs. There are some pre-built cases, but there are these many APIs which you can make every application, every workflow that you have internally in your organization smart and really putting AI to work. So that's really the key and the core benefits that you're getting on this particular platform. One platform, any cloud, and it's very, very key. So what you would achieve by this is you're modernized your environment, making your data ready for an AI and a hybrid cloud world. So as I said, it supports both the insight-driven and the data-driven approach. And in the industry, you take it either Forrester or the Gartner, you'll find that it's actually a market leader when it comes to each of those individual components. So which is a good news actually. So that you're betting actually on a solution platform which is driven, which is trusted and proven. So that's a good thing. So we kind of put across all the key use cases and their respective consultant overview, which brings into what is the key takeaway. So without questions, data fuels digital transformation, and AI unlocks the value of that data. And what we're really saying out here is that hybrid cloud is the data and AI platform, wherein you can create, let's say, more personalized, the remarkable customer experience. And that's very, very key. Can we make it remarkable customer experience for customers to scale? That's for customers. For internally, you want to kind of scale the expertise of your best people across the organization, and so that you can make smarter decisions based on this deep insights that is coming in. And it's not a magic. You just put this across, and you do that with many initiatives. But the whole idea is that you have a platform that can quickly scale? Do you have a platform that you can respond? So at scale and at speed is a key. And hybrid cloud is the data and AI platform. That's where the IBM comes to play, and GBM. So AI ladder approach is a great initiative in that direction. Now, with that note on, if you want to kind of get across, don't know where to start, how can we help you? We've put across certain key defined workshops to address this. Tamar, why don't you kind of take through those workshops and the design thinking principle?
Thank you, Joy. So, as we talked about, the journey itself and the different steps. So, when we talked about the common question we get about from where to start, this is where we can come to help, where we offer actually a couple of workshops, one related to information architecture modernization, and the other is about AI exploration, where we can come in and understand your current data landscape, identify the gaps, and help you build a roadmap to build a proper information architecture that would support your AI initiatives, as well as go into more details about exploring what kind of AI use cases that will help your business. We can do these workshops in separate, or we always recommend to have them hand in hand to actually build the full story from IA to AI. And actually, these workshops, specifically the AI exploration, utilizes design thinking approach to be able to come up with more innovative ideas and be able to get ideas from all the different levels of people in the organization, whether they are IT or business, who can collaborate and discuss and come up with these ideas. So, having said so, I think we are now in the time and ready for any questions you have.
Thank you, Tamar and Joy. Yes, we do have a couple of questions here from our audience. So let me read that out. First one, how much time does it typically take to go through the steps of AI journey you mentioned?
Well, actually, it is different to each organization. I cannot say that there is a blueprint or a template that everybody follows and it takes the same time. In some, it can take just few months. As we said, there are cases where you want to implement an AI case where you can jump some of the steps. And in other cases, you want to just take it slowly but surely, just take it step by step, get the business value out of it, and then take the next step. And as I said, you can have actually the times throughout the step where you need to get back and maybe revisit some of the steps taken to modernize it. So I would say there is no specific timeline for that is valid for every organization.
And I would add to that particular point, Tamar. I mean, let's look at the use case. We're running a campaign right now, which is basically up within 48 hours. This is a COVID bot, a lot of questions, and we have found that there are people who are actually kind of going through right sizing within the organization. And they're inundated with questions. Now we are a 1,500 people organization, so we have got people. You can imagine any organizations out there. They would like to know if there is a reduction in the salary. My gratuity, will that be actually on the revised figure or the earlier figure? If I need to kind of go my travel, now the travel rates have gone up. Am I entitled to the new one or the older one? Insurance, my insurance covered for COVID-19? I'm just saying just one scenario, okay? We have actually kind of curated content already available. This whole thing can be up and running if we, there's a prerequisite checklist. You can go up in 48 hours or up to within 14 days, depending upon how your readiness is. But then AI journey is not just one activity. It's a series of activities. So this is one where you actually kind of ensured that a HR bot has been deployed. You can actually have a customer bot because you have questions related to, and we're doing for a banking, they had questions where they want to kind of see the stimulus package which came from the central government. How can I utilize? What is the criteria? And all series of questions. So we can make one of that. But that's just from the bot point. You could be from a scenario planning. It could be cost the cost allocation and activity-based costing that you want to kind of do possibly that is another area where you bring in all the elements of expenses and time taken to kind of derive that. Which the crux is, it is not one. You can actually kind of get your benefit from, as you said, if it's on the cloud, make it ready in 2 days, you start getting the benefit of it. Or you look into it, does that do a modernization, do an AI exploration, look at holistically what all areas I can bring value add to my customer base so that I can bring that remarkable customer experiences. And that is a continuous journey. So I would leave it at that, yeah.
Thank you, Joy. Kamar. Next question now. Where does data lake come into picture in AI lifecycle?
So as we were saying that there is no AI without IA. So in order to be able to, let's say, implement data science models that give you proper insights into your data, you need larger sets of data. The more data, definitely, the better results and the more accurate results you can get. This is where you need, I would say, an information architecture where it's in the form of a typical data warehouse or a big data platform or a data lake, where you need to bring data together in order to absorb as much data that you can enable for your data science, machine learning, and AI applications.
Okay, next one now. Do you have any real examples implemented in UAE?
So actually, the case study I talked about, the data-driven digital transformation journey, is actually implemented at one of the banks in UAE. And this actually was a good example because they have worked with us throughout the steps of the journey, all the way from the beginning till we reach the AI exploration. But there are, of course, a lot more cases where we have done parts of that ladder or we have started the journey with them. Uh, I think, Joe, you can talk about some of the key solutions as well that we have implemented here.
True. In fact, after a particular campaign actually just 2 weeks into the thing, we've already kind of gone live with a leading ministry in the region, and we are actually in talk with another 7 more. But holistically, I mean, you look at Rashid for that matter, from a bot interface, or you take, as I said, each industry, be it in terms of retail, all the major retailers, and out of the 6 retailers major in the region, we're talking about 5 retailers using the same. I'll take the major banks in the region, take the major telcos in the region. So it's a great references. We can actually kind of do one-on-one. And for all those ones, which you highlighted, these are the recent ones which were very COVID, 19, which is basically in this quarter, which is actually kind of gone live. So we want to kind of remain very COVID-19 relatable. That's why we kind of brought in that the scenario analysis and the bot. But there are many use cases per sector. We're more than glad to kind of engage in you on a one-on-one basis.
Okay, we do have sector-specific question as well. Do we have any use cases for automotive sector and also for hospitality sector using AI, obviously?
So, Tamar, I'll take this particular one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, automotive, again, 2 of the leading automotive complete planning, budgeting, forecasting is being done on the same platform. We've utilized also the other data points to kind of bring in predictive analysis into picture. So we have got these models for automotive industry are done with, including customer lifetime value compute models. This is specifically for automotive, spanning across your spares, services, sales, and also rentals if you actually kind of into it. So more than happy to kind of do get in touch with us and we can explore more on that. The other segment, which one was that?
Hospitality.
Hospitality, yeah. So I can't take the names of the ones, but the major 3 hospitality sector. Now, again, we have models which are basically for investors. into hospitality sectors. We have models for operators, because the needs are different. The investors or management operators, or they're different actually. The way they want to kind of look at the data. In fact, as we actually finished today, 3 o'clock, one of the largest investment arm for hospitality, we are actually having a. They already have the solution, but they want to kind of manage their entire 40 assets, which is basically the hospitality sector, through this solution. Yes.
Okay, we have another question related to COVID. So in the situation like COVID, are there any use cases which will help organizations to predict the future roadmap?
Then we would be selling that. We would not be sitting out here.
Yeah.
I think there is no magic to that. We would not be doing these webinars actually. No, but
I would say we would have solutions to help you address the current situation. One example, as Joy mentioned, actually, as part of the use cases, just having a ready trained AI chatbot that can handle questions related to COVID-19, where actually healthcare sector specifically can utilize in order to automate the interaction with people who have questions or people actually under quarantine, or to follow up even with people who have symptoms. Other solutions that are there to help in cost reduction or do scenario analysis that can help them to check different scenarios for maybe scheduling their resources, their shifts, their availability, or to help save cost, as I said, in terms of the power they use for their organizations and the different operational costs. So there are solutions that can help and do scenario planning, I would say, for such cases, but I wouldn't say really predict really the situation.
Tharma, just to add, I would actually kind of give the COVID situation itself. We cannot predict what kind of, I don't know, today COVID, tomorrow probably COVID or something else will come. The point is in terms of, are you nimble? Are you fit enough? So that if you're fit enough, you can survive COVID actually. So putting that to this particular equation, are you having a platform which you can scale, and fast you can respond? If you have a thing like that, then immediately you can get into a scenario modeling example, put these particular new cases on, and see how a forecast model with a reliable trust and transparency can foretell you. Yes, it has not made a future prediction, but what it does is it showcases to you that what can impact you in your various segments. So at scale and at speed, if you have an infrastructure, you're ready to kind of face that kind of a situation, I think.
Okay, so we have the last question and then we can wind up. Do you have any use case where AI failed drastically and GBM improved it, or what are the lessons learned around it?
I have a classic case wherein where we bought in this design thinking to start with. That is a story on its own. So we went ahead, and it's one of our own projects wherein we typically took the requirement and mapped it and went ahead and deployed. And in this particular case, it was a bot. We went ahead and deployed that because that was a need which was mentioned on. But when it really went on live, we realized that it is taking very less traction. There are more not so very good compliments which is coming up. What we did internally was to kind of go ahead and do a design thinking workshop and say, hang on, let's look at it in terms of what we're trying to kind of solve. Than just going ahead with the scope of work which was mandated and going ahead and said, what we're trying to do. We went ahead, did the whole exercise, and we went live with that now. The use case we was mentioning across, we have now did this whole exercise using a design thinking workshop, devoid of the technology, devoid of these gadgets and things like that. What are we really trying to kind of solve, and what will bring the remarkable customer experience? We focused on that, jotted down again. These are the priority cases that needs to be kind of implemented. We bought that out, and then now it's gone live with that. So yeah, that's one good example.
Okay. Joy, do we have time for one last question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Do we use FMEA before we implement AI? Failure mode effective analysis?
Okay. Now, I have not personally used it. Probably Eric, if you had been there in this call, could have been a better. He's our expert when it comes to various models to kind of look forward to. I'm not aware of that. Tamer, your point?
Not much to add here, actually.
Okay, that's not an issue. We can answer this in our frequently asked questions later. Okay, we've come to the end of the session. Thank you so much, Joy and Tamer. And thank you, our lovely audience, for investing your time with us. We hope you found it helpful. If you have further questions, you can always get in touch with Tamer or Joy or our design thinking experts, etc. We will send you their contact details along with the presentation materials. So with this, on behalf of GBM, we'd like to wish you a very happy and safe Eid. See you all.
Eid Mubarak in advance, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.